hear that as well. So welcome to you, Thomas.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. Wow. Applauses even before I've said something. That's fantastic. Keep up that. That will be just fine. Um, Thank you very much for having me this morning. I am delighted to come here and present you to another abbreviation. We are in a world full of abbreviations, and it's a difficult task to keep an eye on everybody. Even our company name is an abbreviation, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about environmental technology verification, which is, yes, it has a ISO standard. It's also about verifying performance, but it is not quite the same as EPDs or as eco-labeling as we've heard before. But just a little bit about who we are and what we do. We are a subsidiary of Danish Standards. We are a private limited company, but we are not involved in the standardization processes. We work as a completely independent business unit, as a PLC under Danish, as a daughter company of Danish Standards. We started out 50 years ago and have 50 years of experience in making national technical approvals for construction products. We are deeply involved in the construction sector in Denmark. We have since 1991 issued European technical assessments under the Construction Products Regulation. This is a tool which is very unique for the Construction Products Regulation in the sense that it makes it possible to CE mark construction products which are not covered by harmonized standards. It's the only EU regulation where you have this tool. So we have been deeply involved with the new revision of the Construction Products Regulation, and I fully sympathize with Martin's challenges that mentioned before about how to implement the sustainability issues for construction products in the new framework. This regulation is also right now undergoing trialogue, so it will be interesting to see what comes out of that in the end. Right now, we have an empty 4-column document. The fourth column is empty. There's lots in the 3 columns that precedes it, so we will see what comes out of that process. We are accredited by the Danish accreditation body to issue ETVs, and ETVs, environmental technology verifications, is the subject that I will talk to you about now. As maybe opposed, or I don't know, quite to the other schemes that we've heard about, the ETV, the environmental technology verification, is primarily aimed not at consumers, but primarily at business to business, or business to regulators, business to public procurers. And it's about being able to promote the use of environmental technology, technologies, innovative technologies, and first and foremost, in order to show technology developers, public procurers, regulators, developers, investors, users of the technologies, that the performance, the environmental performance that is claimed by the manufacturer, the technology provider, is well documented. And I guess similar to all the other schemes that we are talking about, it's all about being able to document that the environmental performance that we're looking for, the overall objective to this, is to battle the climate change. And how do we do that? Most politicians say we need new technologies. Technologies are the ones, the tools that are going to drive the battle against climate change. What sense does it make if you cannot verify the performance claimed by the manufacturer? If a manufacturer claims I save 20% water by using this cleaning technology than conventional technologies, if you cannot verify that, you're not sure to get that particular environmental benefit of using this new technology. That's the purpose of environmental technology verification, is to make sure that you get this environmental performance claim verified. It is not a national approval. It is not a certification. So the ETV is a document to travel. We do not address in ETV any possible national requirements for a certain level of performance, but the manufacturer that is asking for the ETV is obliged to inform us what could possibly be the regulatory requirements that are in the states where he wants to place the technology on the market. So we do have an aspect of this, but we are not an approval body for these technologies. We don't know the specific legislation for these environmental aspects in Poland or in Italy. This is a national issue, but when you come with an ETV, that you know then what the performance claim is and that it's verified. The history of ETV, it's not new. It could be considered new in EU, new in Denmark, but it's actually quite old. It was established in the 90s, 1993 in California originally. It then spread to the whole US under the US Environmental Protection Agency. It spread to Canada. Environment Canada had a governmental scheme as well. And then also in Korea, Japan, and in Denmark, we've had national ETV schemes for quite a number of years. The European Commission, DG Environment, in 2011, initiated a pilot program to see if there was a basis for having a European scheme program operated in the European Union, and we were 7 countries starting and working in this pilot program. ETA-Danmark was the first of the EU verification bodies to get the accreditation to this European system, and we are accredited against this standard called ISO 17020 for inspection bodies, and we are what is called a Type A inspection body. One of the schemes, one of the areas that we work in, particularly in Denmark, is verifying the environmental performance of agricultural technologies. There's been a cooperation between Denmark, Netherlands, and Germany for a number of years called VERA, which was to ensure a mutual recognition of environmental performances of agricultural technologies between these 3 countries. And a number of different protocols were established for supporting this. We became the technical arm of this together with the Danish Ministry of Environment in 2013. And parallel to this, ISO under the TC 207 working in environmental aspects, there was work going on establishing an ISO standard for the ETV as a process. This standard was developed and published in 2016. And in 2019, we expanded our accreditation to also cover making ETVs in accordance with this particular standard. So there is a standard for the process, and you can see lots of us are referring to the 14,000 series for these different standards. ISO 14034 is also under that same umbrella. As a consequence of political decisions and the aim of the European Commission not to be program owners, but more to be involved in regulation, the European Commission decided in 2022 to terminate the pilot program. There was a lot of evaluations going on, and generally speaking, it was the opinion that ETV was a fantastic concept. It underpinned everything that we want with the Green Deal, with the climatic ambitions we want in the European Union as a tool, but it didn't really belong. It didn't fit as a program run by the European Commission. Instead, it was thought to be a more business-oriented, a market-oriented program, and that's why we are now completing the ETVs that we are doing under the European program, and now completely going over to doing ETVs in accordance with the ISO standard instead. So it complies very well with the developments in the European Union and the ambitions that we have. It covers a lot of different technology areas. It's not particularly ETA-Danmark is coming out of the construction sector, but it's not really only construction products that we are dealing with. We are making ETVs within these sort of main 7 technology areas. As you can see, it covers almost everything that you can think of, from materials, which could be construction products, waste, cleaner production processes, aquaculture, water treatment, and monitoring. And the aim of the ETV is to show, and in order to benchmark against conventional technologies, that you have a better environmental performance, that you can provide an environmental added value on the marketplace. It could be measuring water, measuring pollution in water more precisely than conventional measuring instruments. It could be a manufacturer cleaning industrial kitchens with ozone instead of water, and the environmental claim is then that he saves so and so much water compared to conventional technologies. So it's all about showing that you have, if there is a comparable alternative, existing alternative, that you show that you benchmark yourself better than they do. And if there is no alternative, it is a matter of verifying the performance claim made by the manufacturer. The additional thing, we're not just blindly verifying that the manufacturer has a certain performance claim. We are also obliged to look into possible negative side effects. It was mentioned before in other schemes as well that you are always obliged to see if something negative is coming out of this. If you are having a fantastic technology that is cleaning cigarette smoke or whatever, I don't know what, but it leads out mercury, then you have a rather significant negative side effect that needs to be assessed and reported as well. Yeah, so these are the technologies that we are working in, and we've made our accreditation covers every single one of these different technology areas. There is a very well-defined process in this, and this is what gives the credibility to the scheme. This is what our accreditation supports, that we have a very specific phase of steps that we need to go through to ensure that we have the credibility and the performance established in a well-placed manner. So first, you have a contact, the manufacturer, the technology provider contacts us in order to get the verification. You have a phase where you're trying to figure out, okay, is this technology that's eligible for an ETV? It means that it has to fulfill certain criteria. It has to be innovative. It has to be a technology. So it's not enough that it's just a good idea. So innovative has a different meaning. It's one of the most used words, but it has different meanings. For us, it means that you actually have not just a good idea, not just a concept, but you actually have something that you can bring to the market, that it is implementable. If we think about this in the context of technology readiness levels, it's a concept that we usually talk about. Technology readiness level 6 and above means that it's not just a prototype, but you have something that you need to bring to the market. You're also looking into these negative side effects. You have a contract that says who does what when. You have a verification plan. This is the most crucial part. This is where you actually specify what are you testing, how are you testing it, and how are you expressing it. You're also in the verification plan looking into the alternatives. What are they claiming? What are they doing? And then you test. We do not do testing. That's done by laboratories. Whoops. And then when we get all of the documentation based on the testing, we look into the plan to see what was verified, how was it verified, and we make a report on that. And we, in the end, issue the verification statement. We are doing this because one of our core objectives is to support small and medium enterprises. We are here to support innovative entrepreneurs bringing their products to the market, and we are supporting them in documenting that the claims they make are actually verifiable. We have a lot of experience. We are working with Danish Technological Institute, DHI, and Force Technology as test bodies and experts. So we have a very consolidated base of experts working with us on this. We are also working as part of the ISO working group in further developing the standard. This is a text-heavy document or slide. I won't read it up. I think maybe the slides will be available to you, but it just gives a broad perspective on the values of the ETV, regardless of where you are in the value chain. For the manufacturers, it gives the better credibility of the performance claim. For the developers, for the investors, it gives a sound basis for investing because you know the technology can actually do something. And for the public procurers, for the regulators, you can make your decision on using a new technology. You can do that on an informed basis. You know that somebody independent has made a third-party assessment of and verification of the performance claim. So you take your decision on an informed basis. You're not just guessing. You're not just making your decision based on the claims made by the manufacturer. And just to put this into context, I've just brought a few examples of some of the verifications that we've made. Rematch is a Danish company that takes artificial sports turfs and separates them when they are used, and then the verification is verifying the fractions that you get out of this in order to make reused artificial sports turf. FIFA and UEFA has actually indicated now that all new artificial sports arenas should be made with reused sports sports turfs. Yes, sorry. And it's been an important tool for Rematch to be able to verify that they actually get the claim that they of the cleanliness of the different fractions. Another area is more for infrastructure. This is a flow regulator for water flows going through the sewage system. So when you have a combination of stormwater filling up the reservoirs and going through the sewage system, you can stop by having a centrifugal instrument like this one that stops the water and delays the flow through the different reservoirs. And the verification here is how much water and how much time do you get from implementing this technology. It gives the regulators, it gives the designer a better opportunity to take into account the stormwater flows that we have on the sewage systems, which is quite in the spirit of many Danes these days. Only a couple of weeks ago, we had a huge stormwater incident in Denmark. And the last one is summer house wastewater treatment system. We have a lot of small summer houses in Denmark that are not connected to public sewage systems. They have miniature, they either have septic tanks, but we also have now a manufacturer that are doing these biological small-sized wastewater treatment plants. They are operated by biology, and normally these types of plants, they depend on a continuous flow of water and sewage into the biology to make it work. You don't normally have this in a summer house. You have a period of time where there is, and then you have a long dormant period where the biology can go dormant. And here we actually have verified that this technology made by this manufacturer can actually do that. It can go dormant through the winter period where the summer house is not being used. So just a few examples. As you can see, a lot of it is based on infrastructure, critical infrastructure. It's also aimed at business to business, business to regulators. So it's a different type of concept, but we do believe that the whole European approach to how we handle climate change, the overall ambitions of being able to actually document that when you have a technology, you're going to use a technology, you actually also get the performance added value that you are, environmental added value that you're looking for. Thank you so much.
Yeah, in the front.
Yes, hello, Björn Spock, Swedish EPA. So, since you obviously have looked into the 4-column document, I'm thinking regarding verification in the ESPR, what are your thoughts on those requirements? How does it work with what you are doing? Are you typically one that will become one of those verifiers, and kind of what are the challenges and what you see from that?
Yeah, thank you. The 4-column document that I've looked at is for the construction products regulation, not the other one. But in fact, the construction products regulation actually talks about verifiers. They are including a new system for verifying the performance. They operate in different modules, 1+, 1, 2+, and so on for notified bodies. And they've had to implement a new system called 3+, which operates with verifiers very similar to what you see on EPDs and those things, in order to ensure that also when it comes to construction products, that the verification of the environmental performance is done by competent verifiers. So it is in there. So I'm sorry, I haven't looked at the other 4-column document.
Thank you. A last question? Yeah, and just want to thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you very much. Thank you.